Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thanks for watching my videos. My name is Davinci Jeremy. You know how I am, 5x5. I'm here joined with Thomas Carlo. You know what? Dude, am I saying your name right? Because
No.
Carl, yes.
No.
Now.
Kralow'Dan.
Kralow'Dan.
Yeah, Kralow'Dan, but it's fine.
Kralow'Dan. I mean, Carl says that. I can't even say Carl's name properly, his last name right. I can say Runefeld or Runefeld. Runefeld. Yes. So we're going to talk about the Bitcoin price today. We're going to talk about where we see the price going for the end of this year, and then maybe speculate on some price action for the next year. I'd like to know, what do you think about the price action? We have a weekly chart showing up. What do you think that Bitcoin will do? Do you think it will get up to like even the 38.2, which is at $36,000?
Yeah. See, for me, I always look at things in combination, technicals and also macro and fundamentals and on-chain. And there are so many conflicting things right now because we still have a lot of stuff showing towards more downside because of the bear market, low liquidity, negative sentiment. People are like calling for lower numbers, etc. But on the other hand, we have macro events and fundamentals like, Bitcoin spot ETF, big players, accumulation from these entities that need to accumulate because ETFs are coming. They need a shit ton of Bitcoin. So from all these perspectives, what I'm personally seeing, what I'm trying to grasp and understand also, this is what I share on my channel, is basically that narrative. What is being driven right now? Because we previously seen Jamie Dimon and Larry Finn and all of them coming out and saying, oh, Bitcoin is so terrible. But now the narrative is starting to change because they understand what it is. And therefore, I think that this is just showing something that, are they going to really let the price drop much lower? So for me, this what we've seen previously, and right now, Bitcoin is almost at 30K, after we had fake spot Bitcoin ETF news, that in my personal humble opinion, we need one real catalyst that will actually drive Bitcoin to at least the first level of interest in Fibonacci, which is 0.32. which is about 36,000 right now. Mm-hmm. So one piece of news, the market is like this right now. It's like a cat, it's like it's waiting. What the hell is going to happen? But with everything we're seeing, and even with this fake news, Bitcoin pumped from 28 to 31, depending on the exchange, of course, prices were different, but within 15 minutes, 12 minutes, it's insane. And then imagine if it's real. And what's going to happen, not within 15 minutes, but within a day, a week. I mean, we could even reach something like 0.618 on Fibonacci, which is 48.7 right now. Yeah. So that's but I really want to see the catalyst. Without the catalyst, without this inflow and reason, just technicalities wise, we just have whales manipulating the price, which is, quite tough.
Exactly. I know. Because it's, although Bitcoin is a multi-billion-dollar market cap and it trades in the billions of dollars, it's not enough liquidity more.
And it's only like 5% of coins are on the exchanges, 5%.
When you compare it to the bond market, it's microscopic.
And it's both a problem, but also a freaking crazy opportunity. A problem because, the Geri can come out and say, oh, you can manipulate it. But from the other hand, it's so early. That this is just, I think every opportunity comes with its own set of risks. But right now, this is the craziest one in my opinion. One of the best opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you could just buy and hold. Even buying right now is a good opportunity for you. If you can buy and hold and forget about it. Trust me, I've told you this story time and time again. My ex-girlfriend, she bought a bunch of crypto. She forgot about it. And then she called me up 8 years later. And I'm like, it's you millionaire. And I opened up her account. Yeah, she had like well over $1 million worth of crypto. Yes. And so, yeah.
And this is just, in my opinion, is just the beginning, because look at what happened to gold's price after the introduction of the ETF, 400% return, gold. And gold was a lot bigger than Bitcoin is today at the time when the ETF was introduced. So considering all this, and plus there is also an ETF applications right now for Ethereum, which is, in my opinion, I'm starting to stack. I don't know what's your opinion on Ethereum, but I'm keeping like 20-30% of my portfolio in ETH. I was thinking to even increase it at some point.
I think Ethereum should outperform Bitcoin at some point in time. Unfortunately, when I look at the Bitcoin dominance, and you do a chart analysis of the Bitcoin dominance, it says that Bitcoin is going to outperform the whole market. So since Ethereum is the second biggest asset in the market, it means that also Ethereum is going to get hurt. So you might as well have majority in Bitcoin based on the chart analysis, because and so far everything that I've said, if you've been watching my channel, I've always said that Bitcoin's dominance was in a bull market. That means alts will not perform as well as Bitcoin is. So what will do actually in the future going forward, and it's still the case today. We can do a chart analysis against the price against Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you can see it is dropping right now. So.
No, I think that in general, Bitcoin, this is, if you even think about, like, when I started to study the monetary policy many years ago, and then I studied Bitcoin's white paper, understood what it is and what real decentralization is. This, people say, oh, you can replicate the code. You cannot you can copy the code, but you cannot replicate the community. You can replicate 400 exahash. This is what you cannot do. And this is by far, like, right now, to even slow Bitcoin down, you need hundreds of nuclear power stations. Like, to even slow it down, like, power-wise. So for this reason, I mean, Ethereum is nowhere near this kind of power,
Well, Ethereum doesn't use proof of work.
I know.
It uses proof of stake, and which with the 21 validators is just as problematic as back in the early days when J.P. Morgan said to one of his lackeys, said, hey, listen, I want you to do some research to find out how many newspapers do I need to buy in order to change public opinion.
Yeah.
And he said they came back with 21, and he says, "No problem, I'm buying them all."
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's why for me, like, I'm keeping 85% of my net worth is in crypto at this point, and the biggest part of it is actually Bitcoin. Also some USDT and stables just to buy the dip, so to speak. But for sure Bitcoin, because it's the only one that actually solves the actual problem of 2008, of this colonial, outdated financial system, the fiat system. So for sure, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I really think that they should change Ethereum so that their validators increase over time, because that will be a problem over time as more money comes into this thing.
Very possible.
Right. So if it increases over time, then it becomes harder and harder for them to manage or to manipulate the system.
Yeah.
But if you stay fixed, right, with a small number, the same problem occurs with the Supreme Court. There's always been 12 members. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. So it doesn't take with our surveillance and stuff like that. They can detect who they're sleeping with. Yeah. If they're doing any dirt in the background. I mean, come on. Yeah. So they can like turn the screws on these guys, right? Yeah. So with a larger pool, it becomes difficult, right? That's all it is, right?
Yeah. 100%. Now, this is a very good point. But for me, like, there's so many variables in the market right now that, quite frankly, we can be traders, we can trade liquidity, we can trade smart money concept, we can trade general traditional TA, whatever. But there's always going to be so many things that can just come out and just put a stick into your bicycle's wheel, and they're going to flip over. So you need to just always to make sure they use proper risk and money management.
Exactly. So if you should always only lose 5% of what you're trading at the exchange. Only 5% in the exchange. So if you put it under $1,000, right, it's not $10,000 you're going to risk. It's $5,000 as a maximum.
Yeah, I like to keep maximum 1-2%, because I had actually, as a trader, I've been a trader for even before crypto. I've been a trader for like 5-6 years. I was trading mostly futures and stocks and stuff. And I had, even as a trader who understands how it is, macro, TA, MA, whatever. There are sometimes times in the market when nothing works. The manipulators, or you're just losing touch with the market. So I had some times when I could have 5 bad trades in it.
Well, exactly. It happens to all of us. Yeah.
I always try to keep it like to 1-2%. But the problem is that people are always saying, like, how am I going to build, from $100 to $1 million with this kind of risk management? Well, you got to pick your poison, I suppose.
Exactly. You can't do it. Actually, you have to build more savings before you can start coming into the trading market.
100%.
Yeah, and that's all it is, right? I mean, that's why you have to build your capital, right, to make more capital, right?
Yeah, right.
And you're a king of that, right? You didn't just make a bunch of capital and then bought a whole bunch of Lamborghinis. right? Even though you did.
But I didn't closer to the point.
But you invested, the majority of that was reinvested.
Until this day, 90+% is reinvested.
There you go. And sometimes that's how you do it.
You live once, so you might as well have something. But it's like, if you make $1 million, buying yourself a $350,000 Lamborghini is just stupid.
Stupid, yes.
Yeah. So to buy something like that, you want to make sure you have at least 3-4 million invested. Then you can just go on a bit, But yeah.
Exactly. And then I would remind everybody the key thing about when you buy any kind of toy, think about the 10%. Just allocate 10% of the total cost of it to maintenance costs. And don't let anybody tell you, no. Just say, I'm doing 10%. And then you make sure that your income covers that 10% at all times. And if it doesn't, you sell that asset immediately.
Right. 100%. Like, on the Aventador, I wanted to change the exhaust. It was $22,000. I was like, excuse me? So it's like, when you play with bigger toys, the numbers become bigger and bigger,
Exactly. So even if you're like, you have small, like little things, right? Like you bought your cell phone or something like that. You should always do the same kind of math on that. And if you do, even though, you're saying, well, wait a minute, my cell phone doesn't have any problems. If you just get into the practice of it, right? Of like, okay, well, I'm not buying that unless I can cover the 10% costs on that.
Yeah.
Then you'll when you do have greater wealth, you'll automatically do that.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't really understand this. Like me, when I made my first $1 million, I looked like I was broke, because all that money was utilized. Something was in stock, something was in active trading. And then I slowly started buying stuff, because most people think that, if you're a typical millionaire, you must have 13 cars, two mansions, and 15 mistresses, It doesn't work like this. $1 million ain't much these days.
No. So, no. And so, $1 million, even in Bitcoin, right? You should be still living like impoverished
until it goes.
Exactly.
Then you can show off a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes. Just a little bit, because remember, you still have like a fixed number of Bitcoin.
Yeah. Which means that you need to keep your Bitcoin. You gotta be careful with it, because even at the peak trading your Bitcoin for a Lamborghini, maybe it might make sense short term, but long term you'll still lose.
Yes. All right. We forgot to do our prediction for the end of the year. Let's do that quickly. So
end of the year,
end of the year, what's the price?
For this year.
For this year, yes.
Let's just put it at 0.382, which is 36.
36,000. Okay, so I would say we're going to be stuck just below the 30K.
That was put it?
Yes.
I just placed a huge bet.
For next year, we're going to be at all-time highs. At the end of next year, on new all-time highs.
At least something like 50 at least next year, yeah.
I don't think so. I think we'll be well above the 70.
Possible.
Yeah, at the end of next year, for sure.
It's always going to depend on things like DTF and the halving and like...
Yeah, but you know what? It's an easy bet. If you can bet and wait until that long... Yeah. Listen, that's. I would say you have a 95% chance of being successful. So I think
that would. Yeah. I think even more. I think 99, because there's 1% chance Bitcoin is going to go to zero, if even that. So yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. If you can afford that, if you can afford to hold on to the money until that time, why would you not put it in Bitcoin?
I don't know. There is no answer unless there is something better, which there probably is.
There isn't. Yes. All right. Well, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.